Greetings! We continue our online courses with Aлексан Mусаелян's Hair Studio, and today we will talk about correctors. The corrector is a special kind of hair dye containing pigments which are used to saturate the desired hue or neutralize the undesired one during hair dyeing.
Correctors are used to enhance particular color direction and also for color correction. They are not used as independent hair dyes.
With the help of corrector, the hue is changing its intensity and saturation.
Previously bleached hair can be dyed with a corrector in order to get unusual, exotic colors. The most common colors of correctors are blue, red, yellow, orange, purple, and ash.
Please note, correctors are used in such cases to neutralize the undesired hue of the background color or the contributing pigment, to change the color saturation, increase its brightness, or make it muted on the contrary, to dilute the color, make it transparent, to create new colors and intermediate colors, for preliminary pigmentation of bleached and porous hair, and its saturation with absent warm pigments. We'll teach you to accomplish the pigmentation in the tutorial dealing with gray hair.
It's quite easy to deal with the neutralization of undesired tones. You need to remember about the opposite colors. In order to correct green color nuance, the stylist needs red corrector to dispose yellow, violet, and to remove the orange, blue corrector. The key principle that underlies the neutralization of undesired tones is the combination of mutually absorptive primary and secondary complementary colors. Mixing them gives neutral because they contain three primary colors. Purple plus yellow equals red, blue plus yellow. Orange plus blue equals red plus yellow plus blue. Green plus red equals blue plus yellow plus red. It's quite easy to prevent the occurrence of undesired colors when you understand the neutralization principle. However, there is another important question: how much corrector do we need, and how to calculate its amount?
Almost always there is just a bit of corrector added to the dye. This amount depends on the level of the selected dye depth tone. The amount of corrector is calculated according to the rule of 10. We must subtract the value of the selected dye tone depth level from number 10. Their deviation makes up the amount of corrector in centimeters to be added to 30 grams of dye. Let us consider the example of corrector amount calculation. Suppose the desired color is 7.0, that is, the level of tone depth is 7. There is a high probability to get the undesired yellow-orange hue. From number 10, we subtract the value of the level of tone depth, that is 7, and receive the required amount, 3 centimeters of blue-violet corrector. In general, the dyeing mixture will look like this: 30 grams of dye, 7.0, plus 3 centimeters of blue-violet corrector, plus 30 millimeters of oxidant, providing that the dye is mixed with an oxidant in 1-to-1 proportion. Important: upon neutralizing, the color looks darker. If we forget or ignore the undesirable hue upon dyeing, the corrector will help to neutralize it even after the unsuccessful dyeing. Such a procedure is called soap capping.
For its implementation, you need to prepare such a mixture. Take the necessary corrector plus 3% oxidizer plus colorless shampoo in equal proportions, 1-to-1. The mixture is applied along the whole hair length. The holding time for the mixture makes up from 2 to 20 minutes. The overall holding time is determined visually. After that, the mixture is washed off.
That is how the correctors are used to remove and prevent the undesired hue. Correctors are also used to enhance the saturation of color or contrast. At the same time, they can alternatively weaken the hue.
To get brighter colors upon dyeing, you should add up to 1/4 of corrector from the total dye weight to the dyeing mixture. For example, to get 40 grams of dye, we need 30 grams of the selected dye plus 10 grams of corrector of the desired hue. In those cases, when we need to dilute the hue, colorless correctors are used. They are of two types: non-ammoniac and ammoniac. Non-ammoniac correctors are used to decrease hue saturation, to get quiet pastel shades. As a rule, they are added to the mixture in small amounts.
Ammoniac correctors are the colorless highlighting creams that enhance lightening ability of dye and change the tone depth level. They can be used both independently and in the mixture with basic palette dyes.
In order to change the level of tone depth, we need to add up to 1/4 of ammoniac corrector by the total volume of dye. For instance, the mixture is blended with the 3 or 6% oxidant in the standard proportion for dyeing, 1:1. The mixture is applied to the hair according to all the rules of dyeing, then soaked for 30 to 40 minutes and finally washed off.
Please take note, the oxidizer is estimated upon the corrector if it's used as an instrument for color creating and is not estimated if the corrector is used to improve the undesired shades. We have combined all the peculiarities of working with major correctors into a handy table that we advise you to keep and use in your work.
If you were attentive enough when watching our tutorial, you probably noticed that we have not mentioned the use of corrector while working with empty hair. That is the pigmentation. We'll tell and show in practice about it in the next tutorial called Working with Gray Hair.
If you liked our video, please do not forget to put likes. Bye!